chosen ones, empaths, and all the genuine souls out there. This is why it's so difficult after narcissistic abuse, and it's not what you think, right? First of all, it wasn't a breakup. It wasn't a genuine breakup, okay? This is a collision of good versus evil. Now, I'm not saying you're perfect, but this isn't a fine margin between you and them. They are evil individuals, okay, and it's a process in its own self, coming to terms with the fact that they're so evil. And prior to your awakening to their evil nature, realistically, you were under a spell. You were brainwashed into thinking that they were the perfect partner, the perfect soulmate. They seemed so perfect in every which way. And this is the thing. So after, if you're discarded or reverse discarded, or even if you cut the narcissist off, you are under the impression that this person was perfect, okay? And now without them, okay, you're actually grieving a loss that didn't really exist. So what I mean is, this narcissist that was involved in your life seemed so perfect, and you got on well, and they seemed like they were on the same page. Perhaps they were into the same things you were into. It was all down to the mirroring, but in your own mind, you believed that they were real. So when you deal with the duality of the situation, and you deal with the vast contrast, and you see an immersion of this nasty character come out, naturally your inclination is, why can't they go back to how they was before? Why can't things go back to how they was before? Things were easier then. Things were easier to process. You wasn't upset. You wasn't down. Right? And like I've been saying in recent videos, from my analysis, I don't think it's down to their own choice why they turned nasty. I think there's a myriad of reasons, but one of the main reasons in particular is because when the good and evil come together, and like I said, you're not perfect. Chosen ones, empaths, and authentic individuals are not perfect individuals. You're a work in progress, okay? But when you come together and they have to mirror you, they had to mirror you. They had to make you think they thought like you. They had to make you think they were into the same things you were into. These are just examples, whatever it was in your personal situation, but they had to mirror you down to a T, right? Make you think all of these things for them to be able to get into your life, okay? But when you take into an account it's good and evil coming together, okay? This is spiritual. This is a dusty narcissistic weirdo. And I know this is, I'm not trying to offend you, but this was someone that you loved and deeply cared about. But really, they're in their inner world. They're dark. They're cold. Bringing you two together, they have to put on this performance, like I've been discussing in recent videos. This performance is something I want to focus on, and this is what they had to do to stay around you. And they were fully conscious of that. Then they were putting on this act. They were putting on this performance. They were fully conscious that they were doing this day in and day out. But it does get hard for them, and it does grate on them having to do that. Because in your movements in life, in the way that you navigate through life, you bring to the surface insecurities in them, and feelings of inadequacy, and feelings of unworthiness, and feelings of low self-esteem, inferiority complex, and you bring this to the surface. It's not your fault. Please don't be hard on yourself. It's not your fault why these things emerge to the surface in the narcissist. This is because they're separate from their inner world, and the person you got to know is a persona that was an extension of that inner world, okay? And the same person that you got to know on the dark side of them, the evil side of them, that's still an extension of their inner world. They create these personas to make people like them. This is how they get by. They're extensions of of their inner world. But their inner world is hidden from every single person. You, their family, their friends, their colleagues, their co-workers, their boss, everybody, they keep their inner world hidden from. Okay? Now, please press the like and the subscribe button. Help a brother out. Take 2 seconds of your time. Thank you. Like, let's go back a couple of steps. Everyone has an inner world. Okay? Everyone has an inner world. But what you do as an authentic individual is you're conscious of your inner world. You're conscious of how you portray yourself in the world, and it's kind of like one. You kind of bring it together like one. So how can I put this? Say you had say you had a low self-esteem issue, for example. That's something that you would bring to your outer world, and you would try and deal with that, like in a natural, healthy way. You would try and deal with that low self-esteem issue that you may have. Okay? But they don't. They keep it hidden. And their outwardly portrayal is they're full of themselves. And that's why on plenty of narcissistic channels, you'll see people discussing that the narcissist is grandiose. They're full of themselves. They think they're the best. They think they're this. And that's because a lot of these people that are giving you this information are taking it on surface level. Really, in the core of them, low self-esteem, low self-worth, inferiority complex. And look, low self-esteem can affect any single person, right? It's not a laughing matter, but this is collectively what narcissists are. But they have no problems with making you feel bad about yourself. So this is the reasons why you struggle, why it's so hard and difficult. Because it's easier for you to slip back into the mindset of thinking about the good times, or thinking about the times when they made you feel nice during the love bomb, missing them. It's like, and this is why I said to you in the earlier segment, you're going through a process of grieving for a person that didn't exist. That character that you got to know, that persona you got to know, didn't exist, right? And like I always say, I don't want any of you to take from this audio that the narcissist didn't love you, the whole thing was a lie. Like, they were obsessed with you. They wanted to infiltrate your life. They had plenty of other people on their radar when they decided to take it upon themselves to infiltrate your life and get close to you. And they chose you for a reason. Now, like I've been saying, you shouldn't be flattered by that, but they saw you, they deemed you as someone that would provide their needs, a potent source of supply. That's what they deemed you as, and you was that to them. Okay? But they struggled to maintain keeping up the performance it took to stay on the right side of you. Okay? They can't contain it. They can't maintain it. They can't contain it. They struggled to maintain that. And they turn nasty. And this is the result of them turning nasty, is you have the contrast. So really it's about you doing inner work and coming to terms and acceptance that they are what they are. They are evil. Okay? Someone put in the comment section earlier, and I totally understood why they said this. They said, isn't this getting a bit like divide and conquer? Them versus us. And I understood what he was talking about. But you're not dividing from these so-called narcissists because, see, I'm a person that believes in unity and believe in treating everyone fairly and stuff like that, right? That's my morals, right? I believe in unity. I believe stuff like that, right? You're not dividing from these so-called narcissists that are involved in your life because of their wealth, or because of their race, or because of their spiritual beliefs, or because of their religion, or because of their, like, you're not dividing from these narcissists because of that reason. So this is why it's not exactly divide and conquer strategy. Like I said in the very early segment, that it's not a fine line between you and them. It's not a fine line. It's a very broad line. There's a big, huge difference. There's a huge contrast between you and them. And look, the fact of the matter is, you're not perfect. But it is good versus evil. You have a good heart. You have morals. You have decency. If you act out of character, you'll feel bad about it. If you act out of character, you'll feel bad about it. If basically you're authentic, okay, they're not. That, like, when they act out of character or they show this other side of themselves, they're not really feeling bad about it. It's just another persona that they're impersonating, and they become stubborn to show you that love bomb side again, or they have enough analysis and enough data to realize that it's not necessary to show you that side of them again with the love bomb, because it's not really gonna improve their situation, and they believe that, you know, clinging and sticking to their nasty side has more options for them, right? Maybe to extract supply from you in a negative way, maybe to reverse hoover you, whatever the case may be, whatever they're doing this for. But this is why it's so difficult for you, okay? You are grieving a loss of someone that didn't exist. You have to embrace that this individual really, really, really tried to be around you, to be part of your life. And obviously, when they're not moving authentically and they've got a whole host of personas on their inside that are willing to come to the surface at any point of time, and it's not a split personality, it's very different. I'm not that well versed on split personalities, but it's not a split personality. They're very conscious of these personas that they're impersonating. They use these to get people to like them. This is how they get through life. They don't get through life being themselves. In simple terms, being themselves. Like, even yourself, you may have things you need to work on. You may have things that you do that are done that are bad, and you feel guilty about it, or you try and amend your ways, or things like this. You're a work in progress. As a chosen one, authentic individual and genuine soul, you're a work in progress. They're not a work in progress. They're not improving. They're not going through these things in life, like doing things wrong and learning from them, or being conscious and feeling bad. Like, you know, you've all maybe done something wrong or hurt someone that you love close to you. Maybe when you was younger or whatnot, you've done something wrong and you feel terrible about it, you know? You can even get a dark thought in your mind, and an authentic, genuine soul is going to feel absolutely terrible about having a dark thought or something like that, right? A narcissist will get a dark thought. They don't feel terrible about it. They have no moral conscience about it, right? I don't know if you had dark thoughts, but this is what can happen to any human on earth. You can suffer from dark thoughts or intrusive thoughts or things like that, and it can make you feel like, as an authentic, genuine soul, like you'll feel bad, you'll feel wrong, like you feel like, why are you thinking that? Like, that's, you know, like some sort of dark thought, right? This is because you've got a moral compass. This is because you've got balance. This is because you've got integrity. This is because you're authentic, okay? and they just don't have these qualities. So look, it can take some time. I don't want to overwhelm you, but it can take some time to detach from this person that infiltrated your life, this narcissist that was involved in your life, that infiltrated your life, that made you feel, perhaps they felt like at one point in time they were the best partner you've ever had, or like it can take some, it's a process. But why I think that you're a step ahead, right? And it's not just because of this content on our channel here, but you've awoken to narcissistic abuse, and that's what many souls even struggle with. They may come across videos. I've spoken to people in sessions. They're saying they're a narcissist, they're saying they're this, but they go back to sleep. They let them back in their lives. And you may have done that. You let them back in your lives, or they miss them, but really embracing that they're a narcissist and they're evil, and really incorporating that in your lifestyle, having a knowing they're evil. That is what it is. They're not that person. That person was a fraud. They are a fraud. Having this helps you, and it will quicken how long it takes you to heal. And do you remember, like I was just discussing about having dark thoughts? Well, you can also get fond thoughts, right? Nice thoughts in your head. But these nice thoughts, just for on a regular day, you could get nice thoughts like, oh wow, the sun looks beautiful, or oh wow, the sky looks so blue, or whatever. I'm just giving examples. But you could also get fond thoughts of the narcissist in your mind. And this is part of the reason why it's so difficult after narcissistic abuse, right? And you can get fond thoughts about them, right? You're fully conscious that they're evil. You're fully conscious that they're nasty, that they wear a mask, that you're conscious of that. But still, from time to time, you might get fond thoughts or memories or good times that you had. But what are those thoughts really? Are they fond thoughts? Okay, so what I suggest you do is, if you have fond thoughts about them, analyze it. You have to take a moment, maybe breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and think about, is that really a fond thought? Or is that a distraction? Is that a coping mechanism? Is that a way that the narcissist can try and get back in your life? Is what is it? You know, because that's the thing. How this is down. I think it bases at the point that you being authentic and genuine and kind, have a coping mechanism to kind of hold firm to these fond thoughts of the narcissist, because it's easier to believe in your mind that they're a good person, really, they just had a bad day, oh, it's just been a breakup. And like I said, this isn't a breakup, this isn't a genuine breakup, this is some next different shit. This is good and evil combined, coming into a collision, right? So if you notice these fond thoughts cropping up in your mind, you need to deal with them. And really, they're serving as a distraction. They're serving as a way to take you off your path, to let them back in, and you can basically train your mind. Like, these fond thoughts can, like, I'll be honest, right? Say you dabbled in a bit of narcissistic abuse recovery, a bit of the healing journey, and then you just went about your business. You got bored of the videos, you stopped watching it, or you didn't fully embrace the narcissistic abuse. And like these fond thoughts can bring you down, right? You'll have fond, warm thoughts, like you'll miss them passionately. You'll cry yourself to sleep, like you'll think of the wonderful times, and you'll feel like your life is full of darkness and blackness and everything like that. And it's really not that. It's really not that. It's having the mindset of these fond thoughts that lead to you feeling like you're empty, to feel like you're feeling like you're in a dark place, to feel like you're feeling sad and you miss them. Okay? And these fond thoughts can last for years, to be honest with you, unless you embrace it correctly. So when they pop up, these fond thoughts about the narcissist involved in your life, try to analyze, like, why are you thinking about them that way? Why are you yearning for them that way? Why are you, really try to focus on what these fond thoughts really are. It's important. This is a very important thing. So please share this with anyone that it would help, or save it in your playlist to come back to if you're not in the right mindset when you listen to it now, or you're always a bit busy and you're a bit distracted. Because I think it really does stem from these fond thoughts that you have about the narcissist that keeps you stuck, that keeps you trauma bonded, and really it's about acceptance, accepting that they're a fraud, accepting that they're a phony, accepting they're a snake, accepting that they're not worthy to be around you. It's all about acceptance. Accepting that it's not your fault. Okay? Accepting it's not your fault. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't put yourself down. Don't think, oh, I was such a fool for letting them in. Like, no, you wasn't. That was someone like that really played a good game. Right? They played a good game. They put on a persona that really made you feel like you was in love and they were your soulmate and they were a good person and they had qualities about them that you perceived as admirable and appealing. Like, they really put on that persona to make you feel that way. So it's not, don't be hard on yourself and think you've done something wrong. So thanks for watching today. I ask God or the universe, I know I'm not powerful to just send blessings to you, but I'm starting to do this now. I think that if I align my intentions with your recovery and helping in any way that I can, I just hope it gets easier for you. Remember to lose these fond thoughts. Analyze these fond thoughts. Remember, this is a difficult time after narcissistic abuse. It's not what you think. It's not a genuine breakup, okay? So don't listen to people that tell you, oh, you'll be over it soon and this and that. Like, it's not a genuine breakup that most people have been through. It's very, very different. This is a collision of good versus evil, light versus dark. Fully embrace that. Admit that you're emerging from the spell that you was under. You're transitioning from the spell that you was under, where you were brainwashed into thinking that they were perfect. Okay, or decent, or good, or like a beautiful soul, or whatever. Like, you was brainwashed into thinking that by their persona, and now you're going through a process of grieving a loss that didn't exist. And you see, with death, right? Say you had a loved one, in your life, family member, friend, or something like that passed away. You would have the finality of it, and you'd go into grieving, and you'd maybe attend a ceremony or a funeral or religious celebration or something like that to celebrate their life, and that gives you the finality. And what you don't have is that finality now with the narcissistic relationship, and it's up to you to incorporate the finality of acceptance, of accepting they are a dusty narcissistic weirdo that infiltrated your life with a phony counterfeit persona. Okay? And you're going through a process of grieving a loss that didn't exist. Okay? It's a hard ask, but that's why you may feel down. Analyze your thoughts. Analyze why you're feeling down. This is why I believe you're feeling down is because you're going through a grieving period. But it is a gentle adjustment, and you will emerge shining brighter than ever before. I promise you, all of you will get to that place. If you don't let them back in your lives, you will all get to that place. Remember, time doesn't heal, but through time you learn how to deal with it, and you'll get stronger and stronger and stronger from the narcissistic abuse. And even if you stop watching videos, right, or reading books or whatever you do on narcissistic abuse, still keep it in your mind, okay? The information you get from these videos, these audios, not only on our channel but other channels alike, keep the information at the forefront of your mind. You need to see that way, okay? There's no point watching the videos, digesting the content, and then falling into fond thoughts about them and missing them and yearning for them. Like, have it in your mind about them, what they really are. Yeah, have it really ingrained in your mind about what they really are, and come to terms with that. Accept it. They are the way they are. They're evil. This is a collision of good versus evil, and as a result, it's left you feeling a loss and grieving a loss that didn't actually exist. So anyway, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.